Hey, I very enthusiastically filmed an intro for this video 4 different times. 3 of those times I burped in the middle of it, and the 4th time I did not have any clue what I was saying. So here we are again with less enthusiasm, but we're gonna read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I was gonna go to sleep, but my hair is still wet, and I guess that just means I have to stay up and read until it dries, so I don't have like a weird shaped head tomorrow. And I also was in the middle of filming another vlog, and we just are going to completely act like that's not happening and get into this bad boy. This is about a woman named Margaret Ives. So she is an heiress who was in the tabloids, was very well known, very famous. I think her family is like super rich or something. She's one of those people that was just known for being like super rich. But she hasn't been seen in years until one day Alice and Hayden are 2 authors who get invited by someone who claims to be Margaret Ives to go for a 1-month trial so she can choose the person who's going to write her story, which is obviously a big opportunity for them. And the catch is that Margaret is only giving Alice and Hayden each different pieces of her story, and because of an NDA, they're not able to like talk to each other about those pieces of the story. They're kind of just like working with what they got. And I love the ending of this description because it says, "It's becoming abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret's spinning, could be a mystery, a tragedy, or a love ballad, depending on who's telling it." I thought this was a romance, but I saw that Emily Henry was on Reese Witherspoon's Instagram. This is a Reese's Book Club pic. And she was saying that this is also a mystery and a thriller. Plot twist. So I'm even more curious and just eager to get into this bad boy. Shall we? Y'all, I am so tired. I was really hoping to finish this book by tomorrow so that I could have a dedicated book for my Florida trip. However, I haven't slept in like 2 days, and I've been going to the gym for an hour, workout with my trainer after work, and then coming home and then not sleeping. It's truly a tragedy. The point is that I know for a fact that I will be sleeping on this airplane and not finishing this book. Truly, truly a sad time, but reading this book is not. I actually just read chapter 1 yesterday before going to bed, and I honestly was like, yikes, this is gonna be the first Emily Henry book that is not giving it any skip. However, I picked it up again this morning on the train, and I'm starting to miss my long commutes because I just don't have as much time as I really want to have to read in the mornings. I read about 5, almost 6 chapters on the train. It's pretty quick read. Like, I know that I'm already on page 68 with just like the maybe 20 minutes of reading. So it is a pretty fun and quick read. I will say that once I got past the first chapter, then was when I got hooked. Like, I was kind of squealing and kicking my little feet on the bus because of the banter. This main character, she is just she's a very positive person. She says that like, she describes herself as like, you know, I don't take much personally, like I probably should take more personally. And her friends are like, you like everyone. So she's like a goofy, silly type of person. And the male main character, he's like a grump. We're clearly getting the grumpy sunshine, but she just like does it so well where it's like so funny. I also thought that we were going to be getting like forced proximity, but I'm not sure. We're going to see how the events that are happening right now play out, but I think we might be getting forced proximity, and that would make sense because why else would a dude who wants nothing to do with this girl be around her and fall for her? Even though he is like showing little signs of like, not necessarily that he wants to be around her, but that he, even though he's grumpy, doesn't actually mind her. This is just who he is. But their banter is just like, it's A1, honestly, because he is like, I want nothing to do with you vibes, and she is very much like making a joke out of it, and he wants to laugh so bad, but he's not going to. And Emily Henry's writing, honestly, is just unmatched. She just is so quirky and like weird and like different in like the best way. Almost like my favorite Christina Lauren novels are like the ones where the main character is like really weird. But she says like really funny things like, I take a tiny sip through the neon pink straw and it feels like I just inhaled sugar and then poured gasoline down my throat, but in a fun way. Like, it just says the oddest things. So I think that this has the makings of a really great book. I'm very excited for what is to come. And I was a little nervous because I don't think Emily Henry's ever done like, it's very odd, to be honest. I think the only like mystery thriller romance book I've ever read was Verity, and then we had like the kind of paranormal mystery thriller romance, which was Layla. But I like Emily Henry's writing much more than I like Colleen Hoover's, so my hopes are high, and I don't want them to be high because I feel like you need to have your expectations low, but we don't. But we're not disappointed, so we're not going to talk about it. I am going to bed. I'll talk to you when I have an update. It's us walking through the airport so confidently, like we knew where we were going. Mind you, there was no gate on our boarding passes. Where did we think we were gonna get? Hey friends, I'm at the airport. I kind of regret not giving y'all an update earlier because the airport started to get really, really packed right now, but let's hope that y'all can hear me because I have my headphones in. I am maybe about a fifth of the way through this book right now, and look how many tabbies I have, and I'm really loving it. Like, I'm really starting to remember, I think because I'm paying attention, because I want to like, everything I read, I'm like, I need to say something about this. And I have to stop myself from recording because why would I get on the camera to just say something to you? But I'm literally so flippin' excited. First of all, I love these characters. We haven't like gotten a lot of information about Hayden and who he is. I have a feeling that he's going to be one of those characters that we kind of have to like earn it with him, just like the grumpy vibes. You know, he doesn't say much, but it is kind of cute how he's like kind of interested in Alice, and he does kind of get roped into her long stream of consciousness talking and questions and stuff like that. He ends up asking her questions too and kind of gets invested in the conversation, and so we get a lot of information about her through those types of conversations. And her character is just like totally different from any other character I think that Emily Henry has written, and also like most characters in general. She grew up on a farm, was homeschooled, and like just didn't really have a lot of like social interaction for a really long time in her life, and so that kind of plays into a lot of her personality, why she's the way that she is. Like her background was like being bullied and stuff in school. They don't talk about those things, so don't worry about it. It is a trigger warning. Well, they haven't yet, like in depth, but I am really enjoying just kind of getting to know her and how she is like just so happy, sunshiny all the time, despite her background and her difficulties with her parents and stuff like that. So, kind of obsessed. I also think that Emily Henry is just like such a great writer because I can see the ways that she's starting to set the story up for other things, and it's not in the way that I can see the ways that she is starting to set the story up for things that'll happen later. So, for example, she talks a lot about this ex Theo, and right now it kind of seemingly feels like, why are we talking about him? Like, he is back home, he's not involved in what's currently happening here, but I could definitely see how she is setting us up for conflict between Theo and Aiden in the future. I don't know if she's going to do that, but if she was, there's a great setup for that conflict right now. I'm hoping it's not like the third act breakup type situation, but you never know. And Hayden himself is getting himself into enough trouble, so who knows if we even need another character to come in here and cause chaos. That being said, I also think that Emily Henry, even though I was a little nervous, now I don't know what the actual genre of this book is. I'm so confused because I just watched a YouTube video where a YouTuber was saying that her friend just read this book and she said it was like more contemporary romance, but this is book club. Emily Henry says that this is like a mystery thriller romance. I could see us being set up for like a mystery thriller type of situation, and that's what the description gives? Question mark? I'm confused. Either way, I'm obsessed. We have officially landed in Orlando. However, upon waiting a whole hour to get our rental car, I came upon the realization that I accidentally put the wrong dates in the rental. So, they were charging me $180 extra dollars, and I'm talking about it is 11 p.m. So for me to have the car for one additional hour was $180, which I personally thought was ridiculous and wasn't going to do that. So my cousin is in Caboose and we're waiting. So I thought it was the perfect time to give you guys an update, and I'm so annoyed because there was literally no one around when I sat down and got comfortable to film, and now there's a ton of people, so hopefully y'all can hear me. I feel like, why are we coming up with the same problem again?
It's almost like they hear me clicking filming button. Anyways, people are weird over here. Um, Great Big Beautiful Life. I am at about, I want to say, like the 40 something. I am both enjoying this and also kind of having mixed feelings about it because I've kind of hit a point where I'm like, all right, let's get to something juicy happening. We're like in the mundane actions in the middle of the book. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain, but I don't want to say that I'm bored per se, but I'm just wanting the story to pick up a little more quickly. That being said, I did end up starting to write in my book and annotate because, well, one, there were a lot of things that I wanted to just like leave my thoughts about, but also I was very confused about like the family tree. And it's kind of funny because she writes that she's gonna have to put a family tree in the beginning of her book. And I'm like, yeah, girl, because I'm confused. Why didn't you put one in this book? So that's where we're at. I have a lot of other thoughts, but I think my cousin is here, so I will give y'all more thoughts when I get home.
Today did not go as planned. I accidentally put the wrong dates on the car rental, and so we waited an hour in the line for nothing. But we're just gonna pretend that that didn't happen. We got a ride home, and that's all that matters. I got up to, I would say, like probably like 45% of this book, which kind of surprises me. I'm at a point where I kind of feel like I don't want to say I'm bored, but I need it to go a little bit faster. So hopefully things will pick up a little bit. I did start to like just full on annotate this book because I had so many thoughts. I started to form some theories, especially like I'm trying to figure out what is the whole point of them even being there in the first place. Like, why is Margaret, essentially it feels like she's pitting them against each other, which is really odd. But I wonder if in the end she's gonna make them collab or something. Like, are we gonna get a happy ever after or something? I don't know. I am very curious about what the genre, like I'm really stuck on what is the genre of this book, because I can understand all sides of it a little bit. Like, we do get these chapters called the story in between the regular chapters, and those talk a lot about the history of Margaret's family, their like existence and role, I guess, in the gold rush, the Western migration, you know, when they were like, oh, there's gold here, and everyone started moving. I think that's the gold rush. They played a really big part in that. And then that led the family into other things, which I'll just let you enjoy the story for yourself. But those types of sections of the book kind of give like historical fiction type of vibes. But we also do have this like kind of mysterious aspect of the book, because there are some like dark secrets that Margaret and the Ives in general, her family, are holding back on. They're keeping. Do you keep secrets? Yes. They're keeping these like secrets, so there is like a mysterious aspect to it. And I guess I could understand just by like the nature of how the characters are navigating the little town of Georgia, and we got like the significance of the book cover, the views. This is the type of book where you get a lot of atmosphere. So I can see where we're getting the contemporary. I don't know why I had it in my head that they're writing the book by these two perspectives that she's weaving, and then she disappears. I think it's because the description actually is that they, the author, Margaret Ives, disappears and no one knows where she is, and our main character Alice actually ends up finding her, and so does Hayden, and that's how they come across the opportunity to write her book. So maybe I thought that she ends up disappearing, but she was already disappeared in the first place. I might be confusing this with A Killing Cult or some other mystery thriller. I'm not confused in that they really did say this was a mystery on Reese's Book Club. Like, I'm not joking. That part happened, but I guess this is many genres. What can I say? I also do like that we're getting the vibes of, this is my library assistant, Luna. Please pardon her interruption. But I do like that we're kind of getting like the interview, Daisy Jones, the favorites type of vibe in those like chapters that I was mentioning before called The Story. It almost does feel like you're getting two different stories in this book, like, and you're flashing back between those two stories. So I am excited and waiting, and I think that's why I can't exactly say that I'm bored, because there is that anticipation of how the French toast are we gonna get from this story about the gold rush to Margaret Ives. There also was a reference to this family, because like I think I said before that they're just like people who are famous for being rich. They do other things with their money that I think plays into why they're famous. But I don't want to take away from the enjoyment of the book by telling you what it is, because it's one of the like things that you kind of like enjoy going through the figuring out of those things, if that makes sense. It's part of the reading experience. I was saying that I'm in this book and I'm interested because, one, I want to know what Margaret is hiding, and two, I want to understand how the story is going to connect from her family's beginnings to where she is now. So that's why I can't say that I'm bored by this book, and it kind of keeps you going. I also am still very much enjoying the characters. Emily Henry's, like, I will always say the best thing that she does is like her banter is top tier banter. Even though I'm not 100% sure, I like the way that their relationship is going, and like the weird like little almost miscommunication that they've already had was just like so dumb. I hate when characters withhold information for like no apparent reason just to create a conflict in the story. And while it was resolved pretty quickly, I don't like it. Can we stop doing that, please? Stop jumping to conclusions. Anyways, it's the middle of the night, so I need to sleep, but maybe I'll read one more chapter. Luna, say bye. What are you doing? So I'm actually super invested, and I'm starting to have theories, because in this book, Margaret Ives and the main character, they're having a conversation, and they keep referring to Margaret's family as the House of Ives, which is kind of giving the House of Usher vibes. There's literally a book that comes out about them called The Fall of the House of Ives. Hello, Edgar Allan Poe, are you in the room? Yeah, The Fall of the House of Usher is about Madeline and Roderick Usher, who basically like start a pharmaceutical company, but they start to rise to riches and power based off of that money. But then all 6 of Roderick's children are unalived, and as they start to die, secrets about the Usher family start to like come out. And that is a story that has a lot to do with like psychological unwellness and things like that. So I'm curious if that is what Emily Henry is trying to allude to. Like, is Margaret Ives gonna be like mentally or psychologically unwell in some way? Curiouser and curiouser.
So good.
We made it! So sad. Hey, I've just returned from a weekend in Florida. I went to go visit Universal Studios Orlando and also Islands of Adventure. And then on Sunday, my friend had a birthday party where you're supposed to dress up like an iconic character in a movie. And let me tell you, we did a great job. Anyways, I didn't get much reading done because we were at those parks for like 9 hours a day. And then I was so tired when I would get home from all the walking and stuff. I would just knock out immediately. I don't think we barely even ate all weekend. It was just sleep and fun. What a time to be alive. I feel like I was away for like 3 weeks. No joke. But I did not get much reading done. I'm on page 374. So I've got over 100 pages left. 10 chapters to be exact. And I don't really have that many thoughts, to be honest. I feel like there are some cute moments. Like our main character, I was saying before, it's very like grumpy sunshine in here. And she tends to like have a very like happy disposition about things. And she also tends to like talk a lot, according to her. I think she speaks a normal amount, but I also talk a lot, so who knows. And at one point, she's talking and he kisses her and she's like, that's a pretty good strategy. And he's like, for what? She's like, what, I'm talking too much. And she's like, not she, he tells her, I'm not trying to shut you up, Alice. It's just that somehow almost everything you say makes me want to kiss you. And I just like could picture myself squealing at little things like that. And he says like cute things. But for the most part though, I'm bored. I don't know. It's just that like at first I think I wasn't necessarily interested in this backstory of the Margaret Ives character. I was just like interested to see where it was gonna go, and we haven't really gone anywhere that I care about, so I'm feeling underwhelmed, and that's pretty much it, which is very unfortunate. I was actually watching this video. I will link it down below, but I think the YouTuber's name is The Story Ain't Over, and she was talking a lot about how we have these big like named authors, Emily Henry, Ali Hazelwood, V.E. Schwab, for kind of like each category, and we just like eat up their content, whether it's good or not. And that has me thinking a lot about this book, because if Emily Henry writes it, I'm gonna read it. She's like one of my auto-buy authors. So is Ali Hazelwood. So is B. Schwab. But does that mean that everything they write is like amazing, fantastic? I don't know. I do have it on my list to reread all of Emily Henry's books this year, and I also want to get through B.E. Schwab's backlist. So I'm curious to see if I will actually continue these opinions. But that's not to say that I don't think that they're good authors. I think Emily Henry's a great author, but I do have to say that I'm really feeling like Great Big Beautiful Life is kind of average and mid. Just unfortunate, but maybe, you know, because we were off to a pretty good start. We're just like in a lull right now, but maybe the ending will save it. I also feel like I had very like confused and not accurate expectations of this book, and because it's not meeting it, that might also be shifting or contributing to my negative perspective of this book, but only time will tell. All right, y'all, I'm all done with Great Big Beautiful Life. I am going to give it a grand total of, drumroll please, 3.5 stars. Which is honestly not a bad rating for a book, I think, but it's just so underwhelming given how highly I usually feel about Emily Henry's books. I mean, I still think this one was well written, but I just felt like I was maybe misled, and I just kept expecting for things to be juicier than what they actually ended up being. So that was like kind of underwhelming. But anyways, if you made it this far, leave me a pen emoji in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you want to join the family, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all when I see you next. Bye.